Day 38 of mock interviewing with
Can you
ChatGPT.
describe a challenging data pipeline project you've architected or maintained using AWS services such as Glue and Lambda, and how you ensured its robustness and efficiency?
Okay. Um, when I was building the cloud data sourcing framework, I have encountered an out of IP's address. So essentially, we every glue job that we run, we must put it inside a VPC to ensure the security and connectivity between the job, the machine running the job, and the source system. And uh, so, okay, uh, so our VBC have CIDR slash 20, 26, which 24, which is uh, which mean we have, and three subnets, which mean we have uh, about 500 available IPs at the same time. So at first, when building the job, uh, building the framework, we didn't think that one day we would achieve 500 job occupied at the same time. But as the job uh, grows, the number of job grows exponentially. Uh, it put an overhead in our operating uh, because every day some job fail due to the our IPs. So what I did was first I decide a short term and a long term solutions. For the short term, first I do the reschedule the job so that not every job running at the same time. Okay, so each job often uh, run after each other about 10 minutes. Second, I would do the I did the backup retry mechanism in the step function. So if the job is failed due to the our memory our IPs, it will get run again at some time later with exponential backup. And for the long-term solution, essentially we have to migrate to a different VPC with CIDR of uh, slash 22, which is um, four times more available IPs. And to do that, we have to migrate all uh, the connectivity to the source system because the source system used to open ports and grant subnet permission, security group permission um, to the old VPC addresses. And now I have to talk to all of the source system so that they can leverage us. And also I would do A/B testing for um, I mean green blue deployment. So we migrate some job first, monitor them at the beginning, and then we migrate all the job and sunset the old subnet. So yeah, that's how we did. Hello, hello, hello. Please move on. Please move on.
In your previous roles, have you integrated data sources from systems like SAP or other similar enterprise solutions? If so, what were some of the challenges you faced and how did you address them?
Okay, essentially, I didn't experience SAP, but I am assumed that It might be an application with a transactional database. And the challenge with sourcing from transactional database is that we couldn't, you know, raise the load of the database because it have to operate all the business operation, and it cannot be overloaded by our ETL sourcing. So to deal with that, there are some solutions. First, check if there are any replica or any C or any DR of that source system, and we should integrate directly into the primary source, but should integrate from the replica source system. Second, about the JDBC connections. So we should the choose the chain data capture methods. Should it be JDBC connection or should it be a log-based CDC? So it has some pros and cons too. For log-based, it essentially get more costly, and you have to deal with near real time data. And about the JDBC connection, it cannot capture changes between many changes of one entity within a day, but it can only capture like a snapshot of that entity, but it still serve uh, it still serve our needs if we just need t minus one data for analytics. So that's how I would do to integrate from a source system.
How have you collaborated with data scientists and machine learning engineers to understand and implement data requirements? Can you share an experience where this collaboration led to a successful outcome?
Okay, in the in my current project, which is Lace, we have to integrate AI model to make sure that uh, our data is enriched and optimized properly. So to do that, we work with the data scientists and to figure out two things: the rule base of the business. For example, if a customer has block code, which means he is a prioritized or private customer, so we should allocate him to his appropriate PIM. And also, if he have the limitation, pre-approval limitation less than 100 million Vietnam dong, he should be allocated to Q. So by that, we have to work with the data scientists and the business stakeholders to define the business rules so that we can apply to our code, and also to integrate the machine learning. We can essentially we work with the AI engineer to understand their tables and how to integrate those information from that table into our job, and give the information, I mean, and enrich the data and move the data forward to the downstream. So that how I did.
When optimizing data systems, what are some of the key considerations you take into account to ensure data integrity and availability? Are there specific strategies or best practices you've utilized in the past?
Ensure data integrity and availability. Okay, to ensure the data availability, the pipeline should be robust enough so that it can run smoothly without any critical errors. And by that, we built an um, framework so it can be reusable, and for that we can manage our pipelines at scale, our jobs at scale, and we don't have to do one Python PySpark job code for every ETL things. We build a framework and we just write the configuration file, including the reader, the writer, and the transformation that we need to to uh, to integrate our data. And about the data integrity, we also leverage that framework to make sure that data is validated and is not right in any way that we want, but we have to enforce the data integrity by using the framework to write the right technical columns. For example, for SCD2 we would want to a table to have created date, updated date, sugar rate key, and also is active key column. So that's basically how we did.
Given your experience in Spark and streaming solutions, how would you compare the use of Spark streaming versus AWS native services for near real time data processing, particularly in the aspects of performance and scalability?
Okay, Spark Streaming is an open source, so it have more uh, compatibility for us to modify and fine tune. But we also have to deal with the maintenance part of it. So we have to do the scalability and performance tuning on ourselves. And also about the AWS native services, we can actually leverage that quickly and use, and it has some feature like auto scaling or uh, tuning the number of workers or the worker type out of the box so that we can use that fastly to reduce time to market and quickly enable those infrastructure with the same result. But it but the downfall of that, drawbacks of that is it is more costly. So I think that would be it. Thank